So main thing I think in terms of the setup, would be said, like your driver setup just gets quite big sometimes. Yeah, wide stance, big stretch to the golf ball. I mean, that one wasn't one of the worst ones at the start, but even that to me looks a little bit stretched. It puts tension up in the back of your shoulders. You get that sort of shrugged look when you come through impact. And I think as well, probably part of this was because of the way your body would rotate, you get a little bit steep, and then your right shoulder would come over the top. So we can see here now your impact position there, how much your shoulders are kind of going to the left of target. Your arm's trying to hang on to it, your right foot up on its toe quite a lot there. You're trying to fight 2 or 3 different movements there. And as a result of that shoulder position, that club coming down quite steep, you have to try to shrug up here to try and not thump the club into the ground or smother it way left, okay? So the feeling more for you, again, is all about feeling rather than reality. Takeaway is good. The hand movement now we're looking at is very good. I mean, in terms of your club there, is it a little bit flatter? Maybe, but I think you're just rotating your right side a little bit better there on the way back. But getting to that right side, it's now the sensation that your back is staying to target for longer, or the right shoulder's moving a lot less. As you'll see, the body is going to unwind, but that club now can make a nice plane there as we come into impact. There's impact. Shoulders are a little bit less open. They're still a bit open, which they will be. The footwork is a little bit less, which to me is a sign you're not spinning out of it quite so much. The club path is coming in a little bit more down the target line. Right, there's the club head there. There's the club head there. So there's a bit more kind of a down the line want to go. And as a result of that, you see the ball starting just right at that white line. Footwork was obviously not quite sure where you were, but in terms of where the ball's gone, it's gone pretty straight down the target line. So I think you'll learn kind of where that club is relative to you. And where your body is, so therefore your balance now is going to be a lot better. Whereas before, obviously, you got used to your swing positions, and your balance would be okay. And again, decent golfers tend to know how to finish a swing. They work out what they need to do to kind of finish in that nice balance sort of pose position. Okay, but I think the over the top swing on the way back was more to do with how your body was rotating. So getting that sensation, that chest is getting over towards that kind of trail foot there, and then just keeping that back to target for as long as you can. That's quite a good thing a lot of people have, is that if you're back there at this point in both of these images, we can see it's kind of aiming towards the screen. Again, you'll never do this, but try and keep it there as long as you possibly can. Even when you get the club down sort of hip height, your back's now sort of unwound almost 90 degrees. But at least from there now, because the shoulder was a minute amount slower, we're able to hit the golf ball a little bit straight. And if we look at the dots there now, there's still those massive dispersion from the first ones, but there's a few more starting to cluster in, and I think you're hitting your strike window a little bit better. Is it where it wants to be long term? I wouldn't say yet, but it's moving in that direction. And like I always say with the driver especially, it's someone at your level and how far you hit it. The good ones are still great. You've hit 2 good drives there, the first ones you hit. There's one just to the right of that and one a bit further left, but they're still 280 in the fairway, is how bad the bad ones are. If the bad ones are like 250 in the fairway or just in the semi-rough, you're like, okay, fine. It's not cost me a shot. Whereas if you're in the reload, that's 2 shots. And the knock-on effect of, oh, bloody, I'm in the trees, out of bounds or reload. You're probably making triple, if not quad, and then you're like, oh, great. All right, so, slightly smaller setup in terms of width of stance and distance from the ball. Get a good turn the way back at the top of the backswing, but keeping that back to target for as long as you can. So the right shoulder is slower. And then once you get down here now, because there's less of a shrug, just let your arms go and release it through. Not a rolling of the arms, just an unhinging of the wrist, and just throwing everything at target, not this kind of like hanging on to the club too long. Also, I would practice that upside down drill club.
I was about to say.
I'll find a clip of the gun, I'll send it through to you. So it's quite a good image of a guy. You talk about this sort of thing. I was taught years ago, the same sort of thing. It's almost like you've got tape on your fingers, trying to just like flick the tape off rather than kind of like drag the club handle through too much. So, okay, buddy?
Awesome.
Good stuff, very good, well done. Right.